17 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Patrick Mahomes, the second quarterback.
It is Patrick Mahomes, the second, not the...
What if Patrick Mahomes was drafted by the Chicago Bears? What if the Chicago Bears drafted Patrick Mahomes over Mitchell Trubisky? Yes, guys, this is the project I've been working on, so we're on the way. Let's dive right in. What if the Chicago Bears drafted Patrick Mahomes over Mitchell Trubisky? It's the 2017 NFL Draft, and your team is looking for a quarterback. And in this draft class, were only Deshaun Watson, the quarterback of the Clemson, it was the quarterback to draft, while the other quarterbacks, it was up in the air. You see, Patrick Mahomes was most famous for his great battles against Baker Mayfield and the cannon of an arm he had. But quarterbacks just like Mahomes usually turn out to be NFL busts. Then you see a guy who's only played 13 games but seems promising and has been compared to Drew Brees, a guy from North Carolina named Mitchell Trubisky. You're the Chicago Bears, and you just hire a new general manager named Ryan Pace, a guy who is looking for the next Drew Brees. After all, when Brees signed with the Saints, Pace was a young pro scout. Not just that, he mentioned Brees' name 8 times in his introduction as the Bears' new general manager. An injury-prone quarterback who, after Hurricane Katrina, won the Saints their first and only Super Bowl against Peyton Manning and the Colts. It was clear the Bears wanted nothing to do with Deshaun Watson due to college. He went to Clemson, and it seems that Mitchell Trubisky was quarterback 1 and Mahomes was the second quarterback on the Bears board. Head coach John Fox at the time, who had Deshaun Watson as his number 1 quarterback, didn't know that Pace was going to select a quarterback in the draft until the morning of said draft. You see, Jay Cutler, in the 2016 NFL season, only played 5 games due to an injury coming from an okay season. And we know what happened after that. And this what-if story, this is the reality of the second pick in the 2017 NFL Draft. The Bears would trade up with the 49ers to move from the 3rd spot to the 2nd spot to select Mitchell Trubisky. A year later, the Bears would sign the Kansas City offensive coordinator Matt Nagy, traded for Raiders for Khalil Mack, and signed players like Allen Robinson, going to the playoffs that same year with Mitchell as the starting quarterback with a 12-4 record. Then Cody Parkey happened, and ever since then, Mitchell Trubisky has been declining. More interceptions, not making the playoffs, and more until this year. The Bears lost to the Saints. And it's most likely that Mitchell Trubisky won't be in Chicago due to the Bears declining his 5th-year option and traded with the Jacksonville Jaguars for quarterback Nick Foles. Ever since then, Patrick Mahomes has won an MVP, a Super Bowl, and a Super Bowl MVP, and has thrown more than 100 touchdowns and less than 30 interceptions since the draft. Bears fans have been wondering, what if Ryan Pace looked for the next great quarterback rather than the next Drew Brees? What would it change by doing that move? Not just that, but the Bears, but the legacy. Here we go.
17 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Patrick Mahomes, the second quarterback.
It is Patrick Mahomes, the second, not Deshaun Watson. That's the quarterback of the future that they're putting the eggs in the Mahomes basket.
The draft would change everything. The biggest change would be the San Francisco 49ers selecting Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears selected Patrick Mahomes. You see, the 49ers made the Bears so confident of Mitchell Trubisky that they traded the 3rd pick, the 67th and the 111th pick as well as a 2018 third round pick of the second round pick. Do you guys remember who the 67th pick was in that draft?
Please welcome from the University of Toledo, wide receiver, Lance Moore. Thank you. With the 67th pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Alvin Kamara, running back, Tennessee. Well, if you want big plays, Alvin Kamara was the guy for Tennessee, even though he wasn't the starter.
Alvin Kamara, running back from Tennessee. And I know the Bears wouldn't have drafted Kamara. But for the video, let's say they do select Alvin Kamara with the 67th pick in the draft. What about the Texans? Who do they pick? They still trade up and select Deshaun Watson, meaning that the Chiefs don't select the quarterback in the draft and will select, most likely, Forrest Lamp, guard from Western Kentucky. The first season, everything from then would stay the same, even resting Alex Smith for the playoffs in Week 17, going 10-6 and losing to the 10 in the wild card in a heartbreaker. But let's go to the 49ers. We already know what the Chiefs 2017 season would have looked like to be, because it would have been the exact same thing. Mahomes only played in Week 17, and most likely the backup would have played. And that backup probably would have been a younger guy, probably a 4th round pick. But let's go to the 49ers. Since they selected Mitchell Trubisky, they wouldn't have traded a 2nd round pick to the New England Patriots for backup quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, meaning that Jimmy Garoppolo does not get benched for 5 games due to the complexity of Kyle Shanahan's playbook. Mitchell Trubisky would get benched for 7 games because he's a rookie. The 49ers went 6-10 in 2017. In this scenario, I have been going 4-12 in this scenario due to Trubisky's inexperience and him not being as good as Garoppolo at this point and time. Now the Bears. What would happen now, you may ask? Well, it's simple. Patrick Mahomes does not do as well as Mitchell Trubisky in his first season. Mainly due to the fact that, one, he never learned behind Alex Smith, due to the fact that that was a huge part of how great Mahomes is on the field, due to him developing behind Alex Smith. Not just that, but also the Kansas City Chiefs didn't have Matt Nagy at the time. In fact, the Chiefs coaching is better. Andy Reid helped, and Matt Nagy helped him grow as a quarterback. What else happened? Having a great receivers to throw to. In 2017, the Bears didn't have that. I believe the Bears going 6-10 with Patrick Mahomes, the same record as the 49ers in 2017. Me personally, the Bears will have a better record than the 49ers, but Mitchell Trubisky would be a better quarterback than Mahomes at that point and time. In 2018, the offseason, Brian Pace hires Matt Nagy as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. They do trade for Khalil Mack from the Raiders, and they do sign Allen Robinson still in free agency. What about the Chiefs? Well, they franchise tag Alex Smith for the great season he had, rather than trading him to Washington. But here's the thing. The Bears, yes, they'll have a pretty good draft. But the Chiefs decide to trade with the Browns for the 4th overall pick in the draft to select a quarterback named Josh Allen. Yep, you heard me. Josh Allen is now a Kansas City Chief now. So the Bills select Josh Rosen who was selected by the Cardinals, which works out because next year the Cardinals select Kyler Murray with the first overall pick, just like they did in 2019. Meaning we can finally see how Rosen can be if given an actual chance. In 2019, the Bears have a great defense and an upcoming offense, winning them 12 games and 4 losses, the same as the 2018 Bears. Only because of the division, but also the fact that the Bears have less talent on offense than the Chiefs with Mahomes. The Bears, having the 3rd seed in the NFC and winners of the NFC North, they go and beat the Eagles and the Saints, but they lose to the Rams in the NFC conference game. But Mahomes does win MVP, and Matt Nagy wins Coach of the Year. But what about the Chiefs? Well, in 2018, the Chiefs would have the best record in the league, having the number 1 seed and make the NFC conference game, only to lose to New England. But here is the difference. Alex Smith is the starter, and after 10 games gets injured with a leg injury. Yeah, that one. So Josh Allen comes as the starter and makes the playoffs with an 11-5 record and being the 4th seed in the AFC. What happens now? Well, in this scenario, the Patriots are the number 1 seed, the Texans are the 2nd seed, Baltimore's 3rd, the Chiefs are 4th, the Chargers are 5th, and the Colts are 6th in the AFC. The Colts beat the Ravens, the Chiefs beat the Chargers by a couple of points, the Colts pulled a 2020 Titans and beat the number 1 seed, which would be the New England Patriots. And the Texans would beat the Chiefs. In the end, it will be an AFC South game for a Super Bowl appearance. And I have the Colts winning the game due to Andrew Luck. So the Colts and Rams are making the Super Bowl. And with Andrew Luck winning his first and only Super Bowl for his career due to him retiring that offseason, I have the Colts winning the Super Bowl. So in this turn in reality, Andrew Luck would still retire, but he had a Super Bowl in his name. And if he did, in this scenario, win a Super Bowl, there's a possibility that Andrew Luck doesn't retire. What about the 49ers? Originally, Jimmy Garoppolo played 3 games before getting a season-ending ACL tear. Well, ACL injury. But here, Mitch doesn't get injured. He plays the entire season going 8-8, mainly because the Rams, who got to the Super Bowl, and the Seahawks, who are a pain in their side in their own division. It's hard for 3 teams in one division to all make it. Technically there's 4, but it's hard for 3 teams in a division of 4 to all make the playoffs. What about the offseason? Well, the 49ers going 8-8 will give them the 19th overall pick in the draft, rather than selecting Nick Bosa with the 2nd overall pick. The Chiefs get the 26th overall pick rather than the 29th pick, and the Bears get the 30th pick in the draft rather than getting the 24th pick. The Bears, with the 19th pick, select Montez Sweat, defensive end, because Montez Sweat is literally incredible with the Washington football team. It is a beast on that O-line. The Chiefs select, with the 26th pick, the DeAndre Baker, because they need to improve their defense and they need corner help. And with the 30th pick, the Bears select wide receiver DK Metcalf, due to them wanting Mahomes to have more targets to throw to rather than just the running game and Allen Robinson. The 2020 season. The Chiefs, with starting quarterback Josh Allen, they go on a huge winning streak, going 14-2, getting and getting the number 1 seed in the AFC. The 49ers, without Nick Bosa, they don't go 13-3 because without them, their defense isn't the same. And looking at the games, the 49ers go 10-6, making the playoffs for the first time with Mitch Trubisky as the starting quarterback. And the Bears with rookie receiver DK Metcalf, Allen Robinson, Alvin Kamara, and Patrick Mahomes, and that incredible defense goes 14-2, having the best record in the league, and the number 1 seed in the NFC and the NFC North champions. So in reality of the 2020 season, it would be Ravens, Chiefs, Patriots, Texans, Bills, Titans in the AFC, and in the NFC, it would be 49ers, Packers, Saints, Seahawks, Eagles, Vikings in the NFC. But in my scenario, I have for the AFC, Chiefs, Ravens, Patriots, Texans, Titans, and Steelers. And for the NFC, I have Bears, Saints, Seahawks, Eagles, Packers, 49ers. The 49ers had a good run, but the 49ers couldn't put enough points on the board against the Saints, losing to Drew Brees in the wild card. The Chiefs, who had the first seed, would play the Titans. Josh Allen would destroy their defense, and then the Chiefs would play the Ravens in the AFC Conference Finals. Just like the Titans in the divisional round of the 2020 season, they would have destroyed Lamar Jackson's confidence, and the Ravens would lose to Allen, leading the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. The Bears? Just like the Chiefs, the Bears would have a bye and play the 5th seed, the Green Bay Packers. The Bears would destroy them using Alvin Kamara due to the Packers having one of the worst pass rushes in the entire league. Then the Saints, the rematch from last year. But for the NFC, the Saints wouldn't be able to stop Patrick Mahomes, Alvin Kamara, Allen Robinson, and rookie wide receiver DK Metcalf, and that incredible defense. The Bears would have made the Super Bowl, beating the Saints twice in the playoffs, 2 times in a row. The Super Bowl. The Chiefs versus Bears. Who will win? The Bears. Because of their defense stopping Andy Reid and Josh Allen, plus the Chiefs' defense being under average, Patrick Mahomes would just throw the ball to DK Metcalf or Allen Robinson. The Bears would have a Super Bowl. Mahomes will have his first win in the big game. The 2020 season. Off-season. Josh Allen, despite Mahomes winning, Josh Allen wins MVP. The Bears, who are the 19th pick in the 2020 season, will now have the 32nd, lost due to Las Vegas trading for Mac. The Chiefs, who had the 32nd pick, will now have the 31st, and they pick Jonathan Taylor, running back. And the 49ers, who had the 31st pick in the draft, now get 24th, and they still select Brandon Ayuk, the same as they did in the draft. So here's my conclusion. So many things would have happened if the Bears selected Patrick Mahomes with the 3rd or the 2nd pick in the draft if they traded up for him. The Super Bowl for Chicago, Allen would be a Bill, but a Chief, Garoppolo staying in New England, or going to a different team in general, whoever the Patriots traded him to, but we'll never see that reality. It would just be a what if. Thank you guys for watching this video. This took way forever to record. Taking a lot of time of mine, but I hope you love it. Tell me if I forgot something, which would you have changed in this story? Would the Bears actually select Alvin Kamara? Would the Chiefs actually select Josh Allen? I mean, would they even trade up for Allen? What would happen if the Chiefs never actually traded got rid of Alex Smith rather than just keeping him? What if the Bears never did trade for Khalil Mack or Allen Robinson? What if the 49ers didn't even select Mitchell Trubisky? Maybe they select Deshaun Watson of all quarterbacks. But we don't know. We'll never know. And maybe I should have included Josh Rosen into the video. Or maybe Lamar Jackson. Because in this scenario, I don't believe Lamar Jackson would have been an actual Raven. But we don't know. And what about Denzel Ward? Where would he been selected? Which then plays effect on every single pick in the draft. But I hope you guys enjoy. This project took a while, as I said before, and I know many people loved the video before. So if that anyway, hope you guys enjoy. Have a good day. And Bears fans, again, I'm sorry that I had to make this video, but this is just my opinion, and mainly because of the fact that I've seen so many channels making this entire video, I thought, let me just put my hand in the group of people who is sucking Mahomes off. Despite the fact that in this first season I have been doing fucking trash, and even in the second season. But the point is, hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, see you guys next time on Patreon. Wow, bitch.